Hey, hey, hey. It's
Hey, Ted.
good to see you again. Good to see you again. I think the last time we got to hang out was it in Thailand or Denmark?
Oh, I probably a festival in Denmark is
I
my
think it was a
guess.
Danish
Or
festival.
England. Could
Or
be
England.
England.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Could have been the UK as well.
yeah.
Cool. So you have been in the raw vegan space now for how many years?
I started about 12 years ago.
12 years ago. So you've seen a lot of
Yeah.
people come and go, a lot of trends
Oh
come
yeah.
and go,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And
It's yeah, so interesting to just follow this movement and see people develop, some disappear, some grow bigger and stronger. And it's yeah,
and
very interesting.
what was it that got you into raw foods in the very first place?
Well, I was desperate. So I was super, super ill back in 2008, 2009, after years of just getting, yeah, decreased energy, decreased health from stress, from alcohol, but also from like vaccines and lots of medication from various things. And I was at the end so ill, I was basically bedridden. So I had, at my worst, I had high liver count. I was all yellow, so liver problems clearly. Uh, Gut dysbiosis. I had arthritis in my toes and a bit in the fingers. I had so much cell and DNA damage that they told me I was close to cancer. I had adrenal fatigue. I was bedridden, had the hormone production as a pensioner. They told me I couldn't have kids. I would get a spontaneous abortion if I tried. I had eczema all over, dried out mucous membranes, herpes, candida. You know, my list is literally like endless.
Wow.
It's so long.
Wow.
And at the end, like I got the Gardasil vaccines. So I was ill already, but I got those and I ended up bedridden. I just could not stand up long enough to take a shower or do the dishes. I was so burned out. Yeah. And I was in bed for months. I was close to getting fired. I spent like so much money trying to heal myself. Nothing worked. And I was, like I said, I was desperate. I tried lots of diets. I tried for a year tons and tons of supplements, even hormonal like supplements. And I'd been taking like cortisol creams for my eczema all my life. And oh, I forgot, I had anxiety attacks for 7 years. And I was at home for 1.5 years with fear. I had social phobia and depression, and I was on happy pills and saw shrinks and went to a school of phobia, and I did everything. Yeah, that was a mess.
Insane. That's like one of the biggest lists I've ever heard
Really,
someone
wow.
someone say they had all those symptoms and effects. And as if the physical wasn't enough for you, you also had the mental blocks as
Oh
well.
yeah,
As
yeah.
well.
It was
So
totally linked.
so then you were in this like what we call rock bottom, so to speak,
Yeah.
back in 2018 or sorry, 2008, 2009. And then what was it that allowed you to discover a raw vegan diet? Or
Yeah, so
that?
I was basically in bed and I kind of just looked up to the universe and said, I cannot do this anymore. Help. Somebody help me. And I don't know how. And I decided I was going to get well and I didn't know how. I just trusted that I would. And the only other option I had was to jump out the window, basically. And so somehow somebody listened. And a girl in a group that I was in with the adrenal fatigue group, she wrote about this crazy fruit and veggie diet. And she's like, this is great and it works for me. And I'm like, I was the administrator of the group. And I just thought, we cannot have this. We were all discussing hormonal treatments and supplements and stuff. And I was like, we got to shut her up somehow, I thought. So the only way I could do that was by researching and figure out what was this about. And,
Wow, that's such a
and
feel like
I,
you're the admin and you had to decide if you're going to approve this or not. So first you go
yes,
check.
yes. And I thought, and I couldn't, and the more I researched, the more intriguing it sounded. And it was like, okay. And at the end, I was like, okay, I'm just going to try it myself and then I can prove her wrong, right? And so I saw interviews with Doug Graham. I typed everything I ate into a program called Chronometer. And I was like, okay, I got to try it. And so I think it was July 2009, I just went, okay, I'm going to do it. Transitioned for a couple of weeks slowly. And then I went fully raw for about a year. And I first had this massive, what do you call that? Like honeymoon period
Yeah.
where I felt amazing. Like I could fly. My depression went from whoo, like to euphorically happy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, pains and aches would disappear for a bit, and like eczema, whatever, would just disappear. And then maybe a few weeks later, I would go into this heavy series of detox weeks, and it just lasted forever for me because my liver wasn't functioning. But I'd seen some people get well from this, and I was so like, I believe so much in it because I'd seen this period for the first time where I felt good that I thought I'm gonna stick to this and just do it. And so I stuck with it for that year fully 100%. And month by month, one thing after the other just disappeared. Everything that I'd had just gone. And I'm like, I cannot go through life without sharing this. I have to share this with other people.
Did you get off?
Um,
Were you taking medication for anxiety at the time or anything? You said happy.
When I started, yes, but then I just kind of quit overnight, and that was before I started the diet. But that I was like shaking and stuff.
But you found that once you got on the diet, that there was no need for any more pills.
No, like depression lifted, anxiety gone, and from then on, I just became more and more happy. And today, generally, I'm just happy every day, more or less. Of course, I can have bad days, but
Sure.
generally, I'm
Sure.
just like, yeah, do.
So you had this big laundry list of all these issues before you started eating a raw vegan diet, and once you start eating a raw vegan diet, that laundry list kind of just got deleted. And instead of a laundry list of negative symptoms, now you have a laundry list of positive benefits. So what would you say have been like your top 3 biggest benefits since adopting a raw diet?
Oh, there's so many, but like periods going from super long, heavy, painful, in bed for days to now maybe 3 days, hardly, very little. Well, there's some, but not much. And I'm not drained. I might have to just sit a little bit more for an hour than normally, but that's about it. And no mood swings. It's amazing. My eczema, I finally cleared that. Lifelong eczema, probably due to the children's vaccines, where I developed histamine intolerance and had that all my life. And what else? Energy, way, like from bedridden to I can do ballroom dancing as much as I like now, which is my hobby. So
Huge. That's so
yeah.
awesome. That's so awesome. I love that. And what's cool is like your story, although it's extremely powerful and very inspirational, it's not the only story that follows that same sort of storyline, right? There's so many other people out there who have had something similar go on, where they had like a lot of nagging symptoms. They discover raw vegan diet. They're a bit skeptical at first. They try it, and then boom, like they just go off like a rocket and they feel amazing. And that's kind of why this raw vegan bundle now exists, because there's just so many people out there who have gotten to a point where you're at, where they can't live with not sharing this truth anymore, right? So
I think a lot of the authors have probably been through what I've been through, and they just realized that like this is something I call the natural method, and that means the body is healing itself, and we just got to learn the principles. And all these people in this bundle have realized that, hey, nature does it so much better than the pill or Band-Aid. And so we just try to apply these healthy conditions and methods, and then health happens. So
health happens. I love that. So you wrote a couple books in Danish, correct?
yes, I did. I got them here. So
I'm going to try to pronounce them. Naturalig Rask.
Naturlig rask. Very, very close. Well done. So in Danish, and it's basically in 13, I just sat down and wrote them about how you heal yourself naturally and all about the diet and lifestyle and everything.
Right.
And and
And,
yeah, so
and so now with the bundle, you decided that, hey, I'm going to take these 2 books I've written, and not only am I going to create the English version of them, but I'm going to take the best from these 2 books, condense it into one book, one easy read for people, so that they can immediately get the benefits of your 12 years of knowledge condensed into a book, so that
exactly.
they can experience higher levels of health, correct?
Yes. So like you said, I just took all the highlights, all the very best, most important things, and put it in this specially made English version. That is a quick read. Yeah. So
Right. And so in that book, I know prior to our interview here, you mentioned a few things that are in that book, and a couple of them I want to go over with you. Number one, you mentioned that in that book, you go into quite some depth on how to release like the 3 burdens that prevent people from allowing their health to happen, as you say, right? So
yes.
what are those 3 burdens that people deal with?
Yeah. The digestive burden is often preventing people from getting well because they're digesting so much heavy, polluted, cooked food that is basically the body every day has all these burdens it deals with, and it's on the job. But imagine if you lighten that digestive burden by eating raw fruits and veggies, it's only half the energy it needs to handle that. So you could lighten that burden easily just by changing your diet. And then you have the detoxification burden. So everything we do, like whether it's drinking alcohol or eating polluted foods or inhaling toxic fumes or whatever, everything needs to be detoxified. And our liver and body is so busy doing that, that if we helped it lighten that burden as well and not ingest all these toxic things or surround us with them, there's more energy for healing. And the last one is the mental burden, which is all about us having stress and worries and like fears, fearful thoughts about, oh, I got to do this, that. And emotions take up so much energy from the body as well. So you know how if you're depressed, you have less energy generally. Like it just goes down. So if you can lighten those 3 burdens, there's going to be so much more energy for healing.
Love it.
And that's when people, they go to bed and they apply healthy conditions and the body just says, hey, hooray, I finally have the peace and time to heal.
Right. And it's almost like those 3 burdens they seem like they're pretty easy to address and lift, right? Once we're aware of them, but it seems like most people aren't even aware that there's such thing as digestive burden. They're not even aware that there's a toxicity burden, and they're not even
Exactly.
aware that there's like a mental burden, right? And so once they become aware of them, it's kind of like, okay, well, I'll just eat cleaner and eat lighter, and then boom, there's benefit. Or they're like, oh, I'll just stop drinking and stop smoking, and then boom, there's a benefit. And then it's like, oh, I'll just replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts, and then boom,
Exactly.
there's a benefit, right? It's just like just bringing awareness to it. And so your book goes into some depth on how to become more aware of those things, and how to replace the bad habits with the positive habits, or the
Better habits.
better habits and health and inducing habits, right? So that's awesome. And then in your book too, you mentioned how you go through, or not you go through, but there are like 6 stages or 6 gears that people can get into to get healthier and healthier, faster and faster and faster. So if someone like really wants to heal, they can, move up some gears. And if they want to maintain their health, they can stay at a certain gear. What are those gears that you discuss?
Yeah, so if we go to the digestive burden, so that's basically how you can speed it up or slow it down. I call it speeder and brake. And once you're kind of using the diet, it's super important to be aware of how fast you want to go. If detox is too much, you can slow it down. If you want to go really fast, you speed it up. And so if you eat a conventional diet, that's kind of gear 0, right? And then you can of course do vegetarian and vegan, but I call gear number 1 raw till 4. So you have a percentage of your diet which is cooked vegan and another percentage that is raw vegan. So every time you lighten the amount of raw that is in your diet, you speed it up. And the more simple the food is, the more you speed up the process as well. So the second gear is fully raw, 80-10-10, but you mix fruits and veggies. So yeah, I call it fully raw mixed. Third gear could be a green smoothie cleanse where you're getting leafy greens and fruit, and that's super detoxifying, but it's still more what do you call it, simple than eating fully raw, but a lot of mixed meals.
Yeah.
Then the fourth gear is mono meals and islands, where you could eat only maybe bananas for breakfast and then only oranges for lunch and only melons for dinner. Or you could do an island, which means you're eating bananas all day long for days, or orange juice or whatever. And because it's so simple, you just really speed up the process. And then the fifth gear is a juice cleanse, where you remove the fiber from your food. And so it's just liquid, like orange juice or grape juice or apple juice, fresh, of course. And that is really going to speed up the process. And of course, the biggest healing is happening when you don't eat at all. So that could be a water fast. But I don't recommend people doing a water fast like on their own, maybe 3 days, no more. Otherwise, it should be supervised.
Right.
But just so people know that eating raw is not just one set thing. There are different stages you can go through, and you can speed it up and slow it down.
Totally. So it sounds like your book goes into quite a bit of detail and can bring someone from beginner to advanced,
Yes.
and they can go at their own speed, go at their own pace.
Yeah. So I also have a lot of recipes, but they're really simple at the end, mostly smoothies and green smoothies, because I find them really like healing. So this book is about like transforming your health, whether you're super ill like I was, or if you just want to have more energy, clarity, better mood. Everyone can benefit from it. And it helps you like transition, how many calories to eat, how to apply a healthy lifestyle, like what the detox process might be, like what you can experience on the whole path, and how to deal with it. So yeah, I really try to grab it from all angles and give people exactly what they need and no more.
And again, yeah, it's coming from over 12 years of experience in the raw vegan space.
Yeah.
So that alone is something.
I looked at some of the other books and I saw there's lots of recipes in there and lots of general about raw stuff, like raw food. But I thought I want to do it from the transformational point of view, and like more about healing and transforming, and giving people some very specific tools for it. And I think that together with all the other books in the bundle is giving another little aspect of this entire lifestyle.
So then they can actually use the recipes from all the other books and your own recipes, but they can again go at their own pace and choose like what gear they want to get into.
Yeah.
And
so if people want to just be able to live a normal life, so to speak, they should maybe go for Chris Kendall and Melissa's recipes that are very creative and taste amazing, but more like regular recipes, right? And if they want to go for a period of time where they want to heal, they can go for my recipes. And I think it's just a matter of knowing that you have different steps, different gears, and choosing them deliberately according to what you want to achieve. And that knowledge is really important.
And so what is your book called in the bundle?
It's Raw Health Transformation.
Raw Health Transformation. Beautiful. Sweet. And where can people get that bundle from you? Do they find it on your Instagram or your website?
It's going to be on the posts that I make on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. And so what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is FruityLouise. FruityLouise. And I just got to get some water here.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Louise, for the interview, and looking forward to seeing your book in there and checking it out and seeing how you've laid it out and how you walk people through those 6 gears, if you will. That's gonna be great.
Thanks. Well, it's been awesome, and thanks for doing the interview.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you inside the bundle.
Awesome.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Louise. Peace.